Hi all and welcome to Cosmic Voice on this Sunday, June the 28th. We arranged this special show in light of new information that came forward, which will be read out in the course of the first hour. Some of it is quite extraordinary. Some of it is first-hand experience, some of it's first-hand knowledge, and some of it has been aided a lot by a person known as the Runer. I'd also like to take the opportunity to thank Chloe. She has spent 5-6 hours, along with myself, preparing for this show, and I thank Drake for supporting it as well. Now, the pretext of this, what you will hear, will shock you in many ways. It will not shock you in others. But the purpose of this show is not to enhance fears, but to shed the light of truth, as that is their nemesis, creating empowerment for the people. Now, this is the first section, is what I call the preface of the show. After this preface, a letter will be read aloud in the show, both shocking and riddled with disempowering psychotic rationales that outlay very sick and twisted plans for humanity. This letter was written by one of what is called the parents. Now, I've mentioned this on a previous show. I will go into the structure of that later. They are an earlier human version before us, who were created and controlled by the Draco, which I'll also explain later. They are named the parents because it's what they believe themselves to be, the parents of humanity. We are all their children in their mind. What is in this letter may be hard to believe, but the truth is too many actual events, laws of sovereign free will, have been broken. Too many movies have been made that disclose this very plan outlaid in this letter for it not to resonate as the controller's future motives. We can stop this individually and as a collective by standing up to these parents, and I'll outline that later on, showing them that we do not need their parenting, we do not consent to be their children. How could we consent when many are not aware of their existence until now? This letter will stir the wide gamut of emotions we have, but they don't. And part of the reason why they try and control us so much. If we get back to anywhere near our full capabilities, their existence will become irrelevant, as they would become powerless to control us any longer. To explain a bit more of how this letter came to be released, understand it was requested by a blog writer who has connections to them, but does not play their game. His blog was not for the general public, it was targeted to the members of the Illuminati to make them aware of all the lies and layers of deception the Illuminati themselves have been told, and to not continue to play the game of Draco and the twisted minds of the parents. To really ruin something, it must be done by shining the light of truth to the ones who have been within the pyramid of control. So the blog is written for a specific audience, for the Illuminati who have left the programs, rejected supporting these parents any longer. The parent who wrote this letter refers to them as the runaways, as any sick parent of ones who had left would announce. Having said that, the blog this letter was released to can be heard and read by all, as it affects us all. The attention of the blog writer has been clearly stated as it pertains to all of humanity, not just the runaways. The original blog writer stated this: so it's my intention is to empower you with confidence and knowingness. More than anything else, I want you to see how far they have gone to convince us that we are not more powerful than they are. I think that is the words of the ruiner. These are my particular words. I think we as in humanity are and have the ability to outshine these individuals on every level, not through violence, torture, mind control and the various other techniques they have used on us, but being human by reaching out to your fellow man, regardless of nationality, creed, gender or religious construct, and share a common goal of care, sharing, compassion and love for all, as these very aspects of us are what the parents lack. They are the root of the real power of love. What follows now is the letter from the parents. I'll give you a brief structure. The Draco are the controller. They control the parents, and the parents control the covens and the Illuminati families and so on down. And this person who wrote this letter is one of the parents. Her name is Cassandra, and obviously she's female. And this is what she had to say. We do not hate you, we are indifferent. Left to your own devices, you act as if you wish to destroy this world for your own comfort and convenience. The happiest you ever appear is in a state of ignorant bliss, so why shouldn't we continue? You had your chances and your perfect world. When that wasn't enough, we were created to lead you. And as the lion feeds on anything it can, we do unto you. A few may act or feel differently, but the focus remains on the majority, not the few lonely villagers questioning and dreaming. The energy you possess is squandered, neglected, and abused. For a few hundred years we have fed you your entertainment, and you have devoured our offering, supporting the lies you're told, ignoring the nuggets or the people of truth. Not once given us any indication that you wish things to be any different. Speak up if you have something to say. We are listening, but we will not allow you to waste such a resource as yourselves. You cannot be allowed to destroy the planet like your creators designed you to. So we will give you the escape you desperately want. We warn you ourselves, and you swallow it like greedy little piglets, expecting us to deliver you from your own evil and call it entertaining, giving us no reason to feel any differently than we always have about you, and that is why we are building this world for you. You will become cybernetic while we allow it, after which time you will be fully inserted into a brand new world, the kingdom of heaven. The bulk of you have been worshipping a while we waited for our chance to take over you. You want a saviour, and we will save you from yourselves. We will enjoy the fruits of our labour while you sleep and dream, as we create our own world for ourselves in which you are not suitable to exist. You are a breathing dead, and your time is ours. Billions of you, and only a few are even aware reading this, and that would still be true even if this was your nightly news station. A capable race would see beyond the swamp to find the fresh water. My very letter to this man called the Ruiner will be a representation of the fact that you all cannot see truth when it is in front of you, and you will always choose the more comfortable free ride provided by leaders who are willing to be responsible for you. leaders with the strength of will to create the world. Children is what you are, the children of animals. And we will have our utopia without your presence. Doing anything but powering our new creations. What 100 readers or more, and you think you are all ready to be saved? To address the runaways, we hope you enjoy your freedom and wish you luck, knowing you will need it. You damn near voided your agreement with us by inspiring this fiasco, so tread carefully. The writer of this blog has tried to argue on behalf of a few thousand humans who are aware of us, what we do and how the world really works, as if this is some sort of defense of humanity as a whole. These few has always existed and are laughed and ignored because of their own inability to digest the knowledge they have. They sit at computers and attend conferences that feed the money cycles as if they are outsmarting the system. This is no threat. Any damage these types could have done, as it would have been done long before today. Go ahead and prove us wrong. I hope this is what you wanted, though I doubt it. Until we meet again, Cassandra. That is the letter. These people who think they control us through our consent think of us. Now you know why so many bad things go on this planet. I'm sure that letter will have shocked many of you. It shocked me. I received it just before Wednesday's show. So if I was a bit quieter last Wednesday, you'll understand why, but that made me livid. They have no right to speak on behalf of humanity. They're incapable of ruling themselves, never mind anybody else. Now, what I want to do is go into the background of all this, some of the history. And this is the history background. There'll be about 6 or 7 sections of categories that I'll be reading out before we finalise this, and then bring Drake on and we'll discuss it to the end of the show. History stroke background. Now we've all heard that awful letter, to help us process it, here is some of the backstory of Earth to understand the reason of how and why of what has happened here, to explain many of the things referenced in the letter by the parent called Cassandra. Gaia, Earth, is a very special planet, dynamic, able to sustain many more types, diverse forms of life than most planets, as well as a range of dimensions. But in particular, this planet is where a newly created race comes to grow up. Many souls wish to come here to learn, to stand, to walk, as this planet has great capacity to evolve the souls via the crate with their hands of flesh in 3D. This place is where the creator beings go to learn how to be one. Many races have had their upbringing on Gaia. Makes sense now why she's called the Mother Goddess. For a race to grow up, it has to develop through many stages, all on their own merits, and always the race is more successful when it keeps technology and nature in balance, as this is the basis of balance in universal law. Most souls alive now here on this planet are ones who were there all along. It's the way of the transition times. For all who were here at the beginning, to be here at the end to see it through. However, a correction is badly needed to return this planet back to balance, our race back to balance also. The history of trauma we have collectively experienced can be corrected, but it begins with making a choice, each of us, to stop playing the game that has broken our balance as a culture and as a race. We must become aware of the true controllers here, the changes that are about to come, and the help we are being given. Knowledge, empowerment, and setting a new intention, our own intention, is the key to making our freedom concrete. The secret to humanity's empowerment is intention, and to do it, we need to do it confidently with full knowledge available to us, and most of all, using our imagination and strength of will. This is our real magic abilities, our ability to focus in imagination and will, and this is why our creativity, imagination and will especially have been most under attack in us by our controllers, to take from us our ability to use our true magic and power. It would empower them if we learn to see and create as we see fit. In this, on what is the holographic construct we call reality. Next section, the Draco and its background. Some of the Draco backstory here on Earth to fully anchor how we got into the mess we are currently in. The Draco were a race that lived here before us. They were here with other races who were also having their upbringing here. A mess was made of this planet, and the Draco decided to leave. They left with the help of another race who assisted them with technology until they learned to exist outside of Earth without the race that had assisted them. Tanath called that particular group an altruistic grey race. The Draco went on to wage wars, establish colonies, and sought resources far from here. The Draco became so successful at conquering acquisition in this part of the galaxy and elsewhere, they took the name of the royalty. They became one of the 5 Anunnaki races. There is a king. His name is Anu. 2 princes and many queens who were never here. Take what you know about the familiar sons, Enki and Endo. One cared for us, one did not, and reverse the names as you have learned them. Now, after some time, what the Draco really wanted was Earth. This was in the time of the fall of Atlantis, 13,000 years ago. Humans were in a highly traumatized state, having witnessed a vast amount of destruction in their skies and on their planets. Not the Draco doing at this time. There were not many humans, but they were desperate for help. Humanity had appointed a group of humans formed long before this time called the Elders. 13 was their number, although there was supposed to be only 11 represented, 9 of which are still alive today. These are not the parents, by the way, who had survived the wars going on at that time and were still the appointed leaders of humanity. When the Draco arrived, they offered a deal to the humans to help them, and the few humans left accepted it against the advice of the Elders. At the time, it was humanity's turn to be raised on Gaia. No one else had a claim to Earth's ownership except humanity. The appointed human Elders gave this claim ownership over to the Draco, as that is what humanity at the time wanted. Perhaps this group and the humans of Earth at the time did not understand what they were giving away. The reality is that humans were faced with standing on their own or being carried by another, and they made the easier choice. For a while, the Draco gave us the things we desired and a large civilization full of wonderful technology and comfort. mentioned in the letter by Cassandra, we gave you all you wanted and you still messed it up. Draco started again, this time deciding to take a new approach, to use our minds and beliefs and bodies against us to control and use us. All of our religions are a combination of the distant past, things learned from various visitors to the planet, and the Draco agenda. Names, events, places, etc. are all confused. God in the Bible represents Anu at times, and at other times his sons and other important members of his following. They decided to turn our planet into their own energy source. This planet is full of resources, both physical and energetic. They can also use as they will. The type of energy that powers them, the Draco, is not only physically eating us, as some of the children, but also an emotional-based energy which has been called loose energy that living beings produce with their vibration. The Draco then began to do genetic experiments, mixing various DNA with humans, trying to create a race that would be able to generate this energy without being aware of it. That was the hope anyway. This was when the 12 strands of our DNA was taken out of our ability to access. It was not removed, it was just made dormant. Human DNA, as it is now, comes from manipulation from the Draco by mixing their own, something many other races had come and done earlier as well. It is a cumulative reason why we have so many pieces of other races in our DNA. When the Draco leave in the fall and take the technology away that assists the parents to control the planet, the parents and what Draco are within the Illuminati will take over control. So they think. Creation part. This next section covers the creation. This is also when the Draco created the parents, who in turn control the covens, who in turn control the Illuminati. The parents were told by their creators, the Draco, that they were ours to rule, just as the Draco were told that this part of the galaxy was theirs to rule by their creators. It's all lies. So you'll see compartmentalization is not just for us, it applies to them also. The reality is they, the controllers, have been lied to also on every level down. Which race is it? Whose turn is it to be raised on Gaia at the time? Is its owner, unless it gives the rulership over to another willingly. So the Draco told the parents that they would be charged with forming and maintaining a civilization that ensures the ultimate levels of this energy is created, while also ensuring the batteries do not find out they are batteries. That's their terminology for us. Batteries. The parents are at the top of the Illuminati. They have the influence over everything on the planet. The parents are also abused by the Draco, and because of this they often act out like traumatized human would, so in turn they abuse their followers and they in turn abuse us. Although there are a few who embrace it fully and enjoy what they do, like Cassandra does, most do not. The parents are different versions, variations, not hybrid, of human from us, having been earlier genetic manipulations than we are physically. They are only slightly less manipulated than we currently are. The main difference of the parents' version of human compared to us is an inability to control their emotions. They lack any filters to stop themselves when they are in extremes of emotion. They are psychotic. They were picked by one of Anu's sons for this very reason, as them having no emotional control makes them also be very easily controlled and able to collect our loose energy very effectively. That completes the Draco. Next part is about the parents and their role, and some background on them. The parents vary in age. The oldest two are about 13,000 years old. The next is only 100 years younger, and from there they are randomly spaced apart in age, the youngest being 7,000 years old approximately. The parent that wrote that letter is 9,000 years old. They were taught the ways to lengthen their lifespan. The parents interact directly with the Draco royalty in charge of this planet. The Draco are their superiors, their masters, until this fall, when the parents take over. They have used us as slaves in every conceivable way. They have furthered the trauma we have already suffered over and over again, from the physical trauma to the abandonment complexes that have ingrained themselves in our psyche. Why haven't they been stopped is because no one besides us have the right to stop them. And people to grasp that, I'll repeat that line again. Why haven't they been stopped? Because no one besides us has the right to stop them. Their violations of free will and natural laws are handled by the universe, not a galactic police force or legal system. In the courts / galactic councils, what they are doing with this planet would be considered frowned upon, but still technically legal due to humanity compliance. The next section is the parents' future plans. The parents' plan is to drop the use of the bloodline families, the covens, altogether, but not just yet. The Draco and the parents know that the Illuminati bloodline structure they use to control humanity has failed. All the genetic inbreeding is corrupted long since past them being able to continue to use. We are already beginning to see this today in terms of how many bloodline members we see committing suicide, turning on their own families, breaking their programming. This is a result of the wave and pressure being applied by incarnates on the surface. The parents will still use the Illuminati bloodlines to start to implement their plan to take over control of humanity themselves in the time being. They will spin it into disinfo in the form of an overthrow of the draconian cabal Illuminati regime. It will appear fair and be foul. It will sound like what you want enough that you will overlook that is also what they want. The parents will use the world leaders in the next bit of time to start pushing transhumanism, as their plan is to put humanity into a full matrix, very much like in the movie of the same name. We are not currently in a full matrix, just what is called bubbles of our own matrix that we personally consented to. This is where and why each of us does have that great power in revoking our consent to play the matrix game. We are not powerless individually. Victimhood mentality needs to be faced and overcome if we are to avert the next stage of the parents' plan. Main thing is, part of the plan is to get as many humans signed up for the full matrix. They will use fear and propaganda as per usual. They will use their Illuminati member world leaders to implement this. They will tell us it's for our own safety to get this or have or that injection full of nanotech or RFID chips. This will be the seeds of the transhumanism that will lie dormant in us until the full matrix is ready. All forms of technology we now use, TV, computers, cell phones, movies, all will be laden with symbolism, subliminal messaging to also get us to comply ourselves to this level of technology so far removed from our natural state. The parents have lived too long to remember their own natural humanness. They are as arrogant, if not more, than their soon-to-be-gone masters, which makes them open to being surprised by us, the real, naturally connected humans. We will overcome this. We just need to stay strong, united, and be ready for the ones who are not aware of these control structures and plans to explain to them if and when the opportunity arises. When Cassandra said they will allow us to become fully cybernetic while they, the parents, enjoy their own utopia without us, what Cassandra is saying is that the parents' plan is to create a full matrix for us alone off the planet, for them to feed off us completely and have the planet to themselves. This is planned for the next timeline if enough of us natural humans sign up for them or choose it. These will be in the form of floating cities, wherein we will be literally in pods, sleeping, dreaming in their full matrix, not unlike all the Matrix movies showed. The parents intend on still being on the service of the planet, utilizing our loose energy, our bioelectric energy, to power all their creations, as in their tech on the planet's surface, to give them cushy rulers' lives they think they deserve. But we have another idea about that. Next part is the changing of the God. G-U-A-R-D, not G-O-D. Gaia, the universe, and humanity all disagree with this plan they've put forward. All have taken steps to correct what has occurred. This rhythm, the wave, will stop the flow and change the direction of the waters. Gaia has sent us her love and reminds us in the form of this wave of energy that we began to be received here on Earth as of 2002. This wave is a colour, a sound pulse, and a light all in one. It can be perceived as a sine wave of love and support of our true natural source, mother and father. The universe has enacted its karmic results, which are never predictable. Together, our true source parents, they have given us an opening window to look through by this wave of energies coming in. The universe is providing you with a form of energy that can help us see the control well enough to withdraw our consent, to give you the internal strength to stand on your own and the courage to walk a path alone without someone there to protect you or guide you or just plain agree with you. If you can do this as individuals and as a whole, you will save yourself from the control of the Illuminati. Here is what humanity can do. How to assist this wave is to ground and clear oneself, as each of us who gets clear of emotional hang-ups and gets to know themselves becomes balanced, which lends us to be able to master our true magical abilities to control where our energies go, something these parents cannot do. Mastery of transmuting our emotional energy, spiritual energy, to overcome the parents, thus starving them of using it to feed them. What has to change particularly is our warring ways, self-destructing ways, divide and conquer of human races and countries. I'm not saying that we need to love these people to death, as that will not work either. Rather use anger creatively and positively transmute it to be their downfall. As blind rage and killing all the Illuminati will not heal us of the core issues that began all of this. Otherwise, the cycle will just repeat again. Creative use of anger and compassion will end it though. Creativity and imagination will give us the will and the brains to outsmart these arrogant controllers. To use the anger this letter evoked wisely. The more of us who become balanced now will avert the continued imbalancing of our planet, of us, and even this part of the galaxy. If each one of us do this, it will help saturate the wave here, and when this wave concentrates and saturates in the fall, and many of us will begin to recall our own memories outside of here, people will remember what they do at night, see through the veil. Others will see you all calm and smiling and know they can ask you what is going on. This will be like wildfire, this awakening. To think of us as the specially trained ones who go and train thousands more, who then go on to train even further, and so on down the line. The knowledge of this wave of energy coming in, and the fact that the Draco are leaving this fall and taking all their technology with them, has caused 11 of the parents to walk away from the original 21 that managed the 13 main Illuminati bloodline covens. As we are an improved version of human compared to the parents, especially with all the best qualities of all the other ET races that contributed to our makeup, the parents are afraid of what we could do if we all stood up to them. This wave will assist us to do that. It will not fix it for us, it will assist us. And this is the last section. Help is at hand. Wars have never worked to fix what is going on here, or outside of here also. So a different mode of operation and cooperation between all was started a while back, and is yielding very good results. Some who it was thought were helping were not. Those we thought that wouldn't help are. I want you all to consider that. Sometimes we get into broad sweeping. We do it on our own level, never mind the galactic level. It's called racism. And we target and brush sweep the whole race or species. We have to learn not to do that. Vast amounts of help from above has been forthcoming, but people ought to know that vast amounts of help has also been done by many incarnates here on the ground via various methods with some spectacular results. One example happened in the last month. a rule that was set out by Anu was broken by the son he left to head the few parents that are left behind. This son called for help from outside of the planet, breaking the quarantine rules respected by Anu. The son asked for the mantids to come in and help him at this time. This invasion help was stopped by the writer of the blog and some others who are incarnated here on this planet. I want people to consider that thought. This caused the son to be very upset, and for Anu to give his blessings to the individuals who stopped the invasion, and to continue to correct the son if he breaks the rules set out in the Galactic Agreement. And that ends the story this evening. Like I said at the start, it's not designed to put you in fear. It's designed to empower you with the knowledge. You are able then to go forward and correct it. It does not necessarily require us to take up arms to remove them. They're being removed without arms. Yes, there may be gunfights on different levels, but that shouldn't be at the forefront, in my opinion. Others may think different, and that is your choice. But a lot of discussions have gone on upstairs about doing things a different way. This is first-hand experience and first-hand knowledge. What was expressed at those meetings was the surprise in how all the groups and races and species were suddenly working for a more common and better goal. They were used to war, and let's fight our way out of it and settle it that way. It's been tried a different way, and it has been working. The cooperation is a lot better. Don't automatically think just because ETs are above and they have better technology than us. In fact, in some cases they don't. Just that our technology is hidden by the controllers and used for their own benefits. They have the same stupidity of dealing with things by violence and not discourse. But that is changing, much to the surprise of many of the leaders, including the Draco, and quite possibly one of the reasons why they have left, or about to leave, I should say. I'll correct that, about to leave. That leaving makes the parents very, very vulnerable. Yes, they may be bullish in their perceived control, but it makes them very, very vulnerable, because now they're on a planet with a species that is vastly superior to them when that species realizes they are. That's all it takes. Right. The purpose of reading this again is for everyone to grasp. And I'm going to answer a couple of questions following one from Kevin Peterson and one from Kevin Mills. Just to repeat again, these are the parents who think they are controllers. And it's stated as such. We do not hate you, we are indifferent. Left to your own devices, you act as if you wish to destroy this world for your own comfort and convenience. The happiest you ever appear is in a state of ignorant bliss, so why shouldn't we continue? You had your chances and your perfect world. When that wasn't enough, we were created to lead you. And as the lion feeds on anything it can, we do unto you. You may act or feel differently, but the focus remains on the majority, not the few lonely villagers questioning and dreaming. The energy you possess is squandered, neglected and abused. For 100 years we have fed you your entertainment and you have devoured our offering, supporting the lies you're told, ignoring the nuggets or the people of truth, not once giving us any indication you wish things to be any different. Speak up if you have something to say. We are listening, but we will not allow you to waste such a resource as yourselves. You cannot be allowed to destroy the planet like your creators designed you to. So we will give you the escape you so desperately want. We warn you ourselves, and you swallow it like greedy little piglets, expecting us to deliver you from your own evil and call it entertaining. You have given us no reason to feel any differently than we always have about you, and that is why we are building this world for you. You will become cybernetic while we allow it, after which time you will be fully inserted into a brand new world, the kingdom of heaven the bulk of you have been worshipping while we waited for our chance to take over you. You want a saviour, and we will save you from yourselves. We will enjoy the fruits of our labour while you sleep and dream as we create our own world for ourselves in which you are not suitable to exist. You are breathing dead, and your time is ours. Billions of you, and only few are even reading this, and that would still be true even if this was your nightly news station. A capable race would see beyond the swamp to find the fresh water. My very letter to this man called the Runer will be a representation of the fact that you all cannot see truth when it is in front of you, and you will always choose the more comfortable free ride provided by leaders who are willing to be responsible for you. Leaders with the strength of will to create the world. Children is what you are, the children of animals. And we will have our utopia without your presence, doing anything but powering our new creations. 100 readers or more, and you think you are all ready to be saved. To address the runaways, we hope you enjoy your freedom and wish you luck, knowing you need it. You damn near voided your agreement with us by inspiring this fiasco, so tread carefully. The writer of this blog has tried to argue on behalf of a few thousand humans who are aware of us, what we do and how the world really works, as if this is some sort of defense of humanity as a whole. These few have always existed and are laughed and ignored because of their own inability to digest the knowledge they have. They sit at computers and attend conferences that feed the money cycles as if they are outsmarting the system. This is no threat. Any damage these types could have ever done, as it would have been done long before today. Go ahead and prove us wrong. I hope this is what you wanted, though I doubt it until we meet again. Cassandra. It's stark, it's shocking, It's devoid of compassion and the opposite of many good people. There is many good people. Unfortunately, there is also bad, but that's the light and the dark. You can't have one without the other. Unfortunately, the balance in this universe was tilted too far the other way. Somebody asked about progress. The balance was 87% dark. Going back in the past, they were talking about pulling this whole universe all together. We're still here. That's progress. The soul traps, soul implants are gone. The reincarnation cycle that they've tricked us with, and their own, I might add, has been removed. Again, that is first-hand knowledge. Yes, it's being reported by others, because they're getting their own feedback. But that is progress. Many races who were broad-sweeped as considered as not, that we should just fight them and wipe them all out, are now helping. Some of the ones more prevalent in the alternative media were found not to be helping at all. That is not a surprise. It's very, very sad to many people who have followed those paths. But thankfully, there was sufficient who didn't and questioned, not just on the ground, but above also. What was also part of the progress was a quarantine was placed that went everything in the skies upwards to the edge of the solar system. Both good and bad were removed. And a vetting system was put in place. Are they here to aid humanity, or are they here for their own devices? Are they here to piggyback on our transition? Because they are incapable, like the Draco. They're stuck in their own dimension, but they're incapable of advancing themselves. This vetting procedure is going rather well. And like we said, many who we thought wouldn't help are. But it's very, very difficult to you can't just broad sweep or put labels. There's good and bad humans, there's good and bad reptilians, there's good and bad greys, there's good and bad mantids, and all the other species. But the majority around the edge of the solar system are here to help. What they are waiting for is for us to change the rules of the game. Just us. All of the interference, lots of it, has been removed. Some of the plasma weapons have been removed. Some of the plasma tech has been removed. That is further progress, and it's been confirmed. A lot of meetings have took place. Some of the incarnates on the ground have been attendees of those meetings. And the changes implemented have been extraordinary. But we come down to what is known as the free will. If you get cosmic, let's just use an analogy, cosmic voice, 6,000 members are saying, we're not consenting, but you've got the rest of the 6 billion or more who do. They can't intervene. I know some will see that as a cop-out, but it's not. Like the letter stated, people ignore the nuggets of truth and the ones who speak the truth. So why should they treat us any different? Because the majority just ignore it. And yes, it's a difficult process trying to convince people that life isn't as it should be. But we all have a role here to play, and have to continue that. If this particular show, you want to post this show out and awaken people, fine. If you want to, I believe Chloe's going to do a transcript of this show. Put it out as far and wide. Whether they accept all the information is up to the individual, but the point is they now will be aware of it. That information goes in and eventually will stick. Each and every one of us in Cosmic Voice has witnessed the change over the last 3 years of how many people are awakening. You know, many stories from all the members. I was chatting at the bus stop, I was chatting in the taxi, and you'd be amazed what they started talking about. Yes, because they've been told the story. And it mightn't have resonated straight off. We've all had that. That's utter rubbish, or you're nuts. But like I said, it goes in. It's recorded. It goes into the memory. Then somebody else will come along and say it, and then somebody else, and suddenly they become bombarded with it. Maybe I've got it wrong, and the self-doubts come in. Currently, a majority are surrounded in a bubble because it makes them comfortable. But that bubble is about to be popped. For all of us. So there's personal work that can be done, which was addressed in the first hour. And the most important thing is to get the message out. Spread it far and wide. The information is what's important. The more people that become aware of what we're facing, and the less that decide, I'm not consenting, then all these shenanigans end. When the parents go, and they will, we then have to have faith in our own ability to step up and make the changes that's going to provide for all. I think we're more than capable. But I would like to see a lot more people showing care, compassion, sharing and love for all people. It starts in communities and can spread out. Each one that joins in and starts being a proper human, just looking after all, is another one that doesn't consent. It's as simple as that. The other item about progress is the pressure applied to these people. The Draco are leaving. There's a number of issues as to why that is, but it's also about the pressure applied. The parents were 21 in number. It's now down to 10. That is direct pressure applied to them. Not by ETs, but by ordinary folk as you and I. I'm led to believe a further 3 are now wavering. Then you get to the next layer of the covens. Many of them are also wavering. Why? Because the Draco are leaving. That's their support system. The parents have lost over 50% of their main members. And they know people are coming after them. They're panicking. Their parents have been taken away. Then you go down to the next level, which most people will be more familiar with the names of the Illuminati. They're in complete panic. I mentioned on the show last week, I think it was, about Mr. Rumsfeld, one of the unholy 4, along with Bush Sr., Cheney and Kissinger. Mr. Rumsfeld has now decided to throw Bush Sr. under the bus, saying he made a big mistake going into Iraq. So there you have 2 of the 4 unholy alliance arguing. That is being replicated on every level of the structure. There's roughly, if I'm not mistaken, about 9 layers of the structure. The top 3 are crumbling. Eventually it topples, and what will take place is the pyramid of control, of which we are on the bottom level. Remember, we are the foundation for their structure. What will take place is the pyramid structure will be inverted. We, the people, will be at the top of the pyramid. People of Canada, the UK, the EU, Middle East, the Far East. This also applies to you also. South America. It applies to every person. I want to thank the members, all the members of Cosmic Voice, for holding the fort. You have done wonders in many ways. I'd like to thank you for the support, and I hope you gain the strength to carry on. We must. All of you, and I mean all the people, not just CV, have the power. The power is in your hands, not theirs. That's the illusion. You have the capability also, not them. That is their illusion. Gain the inner strength from within and outside, and most of all, support each other. In our hour of need, you will all be required. Stay safe, be strong, be prepared, and never let anyone put you in fear. I hope this message was clear enough for you to all to understand, and we go forward with vigour. We have the power.